Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning, everyone. And I'm Prashant Pradhan from Credit Bureau Cambodia, and I'm very pleased to be here presenting CBC's Reverse Innovation Challenges in the second cohort after we also participated in the first cohort in 2022. So first, I'll just give a very quick introduction to CBC and then move on to the two challenges that we have. One is on SME credit scoring, and the other one is on alternative credit self-reporting. I think it's not moving. Okay. So Credit Bureau Cambodia is a private company that offers credit reporting service to Cambodians under the PROCAS on credit reporting from the National Bank of Cambodia. So it's actually a key financial infrastructure in the country, and it was established in 2012. So basically, 2022 also marks a decade of credit reporting in Cambodia. So this year is also the 10th year anniversary of CBC. So while we started from very humble beginnings, today we cater to 181 financial institutions, comprising all commercial banks, specialized banks, MDIs, MFIs, leasing companies, and a number of rural credit institutions as well. And we have comprehensive credit reporting data of more than 7 million borrowers in the country. So just to talk a bit about the solutions. I think it's okay. So just to provide a very quick overview on the solutions we provide to financial institutions. So as CBC, we provide solutions that are targeted for the financial institutions as well as to consumers. So to the financial institutions, we provide a range of credit reports like consumer credit report and commercial credit report and credit score as K-score. So these reports and scores are basically aimed at enabling the lenders to access critical information that helps them assess the credit worthiness and risk assessment of the borrowers, and thus they can make the loan decisions faster. So these solutions are directly aimed at managing the risk, at the same time also to promoting access to finance and financial inclusion in the country. And additionally, we also have a range of, as a data analytics company, right, as a data technology company, we also provide very advanced analytics-enabled strategic dashboards for senior and mid-executives from the financial institutions to conduct different kind of strategic and tactical planning and decisions. And additionally, there are also like a lot of other monitoring services which we offer to financial institutions to track credit risks at individual, institutional, and portfolio and industry levels as well. So on the consumer front, we offer CBC Mobile, which was launched in November 2020. So I can say that this is Cambodia's first and probably the only digital platform that can offer integrated financial health check, as it's the only platform where you can check your credit report, check your credit score, and also receive personal credit monitoring alerts. So I would also like to share that like one credit report is free for every Cambodian. So I think every Cambodian should download the mobile app and activate remotely. You don't need to come to CBC office. We have digitally, remotely enabled KYC activation process, and you can check your credit report for free, right? At least one is free per year. And of course, if you're more active in credit market, you can also subscribe to our packages and receive your K-score and also receive credit monitoring alerts. So CBC is very committed to financial inclusion. With being a credit bureau and a credit reporting service provider, the ultimate mandate, always links to access to finance and financial inclusion, while we provide critical information to lenders and also enable to manage credit risks at individual, institutional, and industry levels. But ultimately, what we all hope that it leads to is access to finance, better access to finance, access to credit, and financial inclusion for the whole country, right? So that is, anyways, the core mandate of, the core ultimate mandate of any bureau operation. And more and more now, we are also trying to see how we can cater to the segment of customers that are unserved or underserved by the formal financial sector. So I think some of the challenges are also focused around this segment. And additionally, in addition to financial inclusion in terms of just not only credit, but we also are committed to support financial inclusion beyond credit, right? So, in December 2021, we also officially announced a commitment of $1 million for our 5-year roadmap in support of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy of the National Bank of Cambodia. And I think, so we have already started some of the initiatives under that, and which we'll also be communicating over time. So with this short introduction, let me move to our first challenge. It's on SME credit scoring. So we all know that SMEs are very important in the Cambodian economy. So I think more than 90% or even more than 95% of the businesses in Cambodia are SMEs, and they contribute to a very large share of employment and GDP in the country. Having said this, we also know that most of SMEs start with personal savings or contributions from friends and family. And when they start, most of the SMEs do not already have access to credit, so they do not have a formal credit history, or we can say it's at least limited. So now the question is, how we can help them build, their more elaborate credit history, or provide some analytic solutions that can enable faster, affordable, and convenient access to finance for SMEs in Cambodia. So the basic situation is that most of the SMEs or the SME owners may have limited credit history, and which also means that when they apply for loans, there's a chance that there's a lot of documentary requirements for them, which also takes more time and effort, more time and financial cost for the SMEs to prepare those documents, and also for the lenders to do the assessments, using those documents. So overall, this increases the transaction cost of borrowing or lending from whichever side we're looking at it. And and this also leaves some room for increasing the efficiency of credit underwriting process for SMEs. And we also see that there are tendencies, because of this situation or because of this challenge, there is a tendency for lenders to also ask for collateral, or even guarantees or other kinds of security when they are not able to assess the risks properly. So one way to solve this, or at least minimize this problem, is to develop an SME credit score. So this is also our challenge, one of the challenges for the Reverse Innovation Program. So basically, an SME credit score will typically be a credit score that factors in credit history of the SME business itself and the SME owner, right? So this is very unique about SMEs, compared to some of the corporate entities, right? So you have to factor in the history of financial information of both the SME business and the SME owner. And because SMEs also tend to have limited credit history in many cases, at least when they're starting, so we also think that any kind of credit score for SME should also factor in some additional financial and business information on the business itself, which is not in addition to the credit history. So that will be the core requirement or core expectations of how the SME score should be built. And of course, we want the score to be very applicable to the Cambodian market and very suitable for Cambodian SMEs, and something that can be adopted at scale by the lenders in Cambodia as well. So this is our first challenge. So let me move on to the next challenge. So it's alternative credit self-reporting for financial inclusion. So as I also mentioned earlier, it's been 10 years of credit reporting operations in Cambodia, and also marking the 10th anniversary of CBC this year. So, of course, initially there was only a small group of financial institutions to whom, we catered, but today there are 181 financial institutions, which is almost the entire financial industry in the country. So, and right now we cover majority of the, we have data of 7 million borrowers, more than 7 million borrowers, and this covers more than 60%, so more than 60%, or even, I think the number could be even higher now, of the adult population. So basically our database covers most of the adult population in the country. And our data is mainly coming from the data reported by financial institutions, like the formal financial institutions regulated by NBC. But while we have come a long way in promoting access to finance for Cambodians, we also see that there's still a small share of customers or population in the country who are not yet covered under the credit reporting system. So because they do not have a formal loan, which could be because they are young people who just enter the age of formal borrowing, Or there could be some other customer segments who have mainly relied on informal lending, or maybe they've never borrowed before, So, but it's really important that we bring all customer segments to the formal, within the data of the formal credit reporting network, because this is really important for them to enable access to finance, and that is like a very important step for them to formally access, to access formal credit as well. So it's really important from a financial inclusion perspective and also access to finance perspective to have an inclusive financial system in the country. So, while we see that they don't have any credit history, well, they don't have any data that is reported from the banks, but they do have a lot of other information, for example, like bill payments, which they have to make on a monthly or at least on a regular basis. So for example, like the electricity payments, which has to be paid on a monthly basis, or water bill payments, which has to be paid at least once a few months regularly, or telephone bill payments, or internet service provider bills. So, we've seen, and also there are a lot of cases from around the world, like, especially in many markets, where these kind of payment information can actually be collected or reported, and they can be analyzed and also modeled to feed into the credit reporting database. And in fact, even though you do not have a loan from a formal bank or a financial institution, you can still build your credit history and have a credit report. And this can really be a game changer for many Cambodians, to have a formal credit history. So this is the challenge, and so basically this will really be very critical for the new to credit customers. So how we enable them to build like a credit profile and reduce the barriers to access to finance for them. So basically the solution that we are, we would like to provide, we expect, under this challenge is to build like a web-based platform. Either it could be a web-based platform or a mobile app that can actually enable consumers to self-report their bill payment information. So it could be like, for example, like uploading the bill receipts or any other documents that can support to show that you paid the bills that are under the regular, that are the regular bill payments that you do. And of course, those bills should be like credible financial bills or financial information that can actually be used to build credit history, like some of the examples I mentioned earlier. And then, so basically the whole idea is like to empower all those customers to self-report the data, and which can actually be extracted into a database, and that can be fed into a credit reporting database. And ultimately, this can be used to build their credit profiles or credit reports or even credit scores. So this way, we hope that we can really make an inclusive credit reporting ecosystem in the country. And I think this is the second challenge. So I think with these two challenges, I think that's all from my presentation today. And if there's any questions, I can take as well. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
So there is a question from our viewer. So the question is, how can we know if the self-reporting credit is accurate?
Sorry, could you repeat that question, please?
How can we know if the self-reporting credit is accurate? Accurate, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, I think that's why I think that'll be a part of the solution, where we need. That's why it cannot be just a customer reporting that, oh, I paid this bill, all right. So we need evidence for that. That's why bill payment receipts or something, which are, and also we have to limit like what kind of bills we are accepting, right? It cannot be just anything. So that'll be a part of the challenge, right? And that's what we need to address. But of course, it'll be a bit trickier than when the banks report it.
Thank you.